Sell as is or process further decision problem 1. Gushers Company produces 1,000 packages of fruit snacks per month. The sales price is $4 per pack. Variable cost is $1.60 per unit and fixed costs are $1,700 per month. Management is considering adding a vitamin supplement to improve the value of the product. The variable cost will increase from $1.60 to $1.90 per unit and fixed costs will increase by 10%. At what sales price for the new product will the two alternatives, sell as is or process further, produce the same operating income? This is a sell as is or process further question. At what sales price for the new product will the two alternatives produce the same operating income? Now, if you go through the facts and you look at what's going on here, we can continue doing what Gushers Company does so well and make delicious fruit snacks, or we can take the Gushers can basically adjust by one more step and produce something they think is of more value. Let's just go ahead and, based on the facts we have, start by looking sell as is. So if we do sell as is, and again, the goal here is to determine at what sales price for the new product, which we're not told in the problem, will we have the same operating income. We know everything for sell as is, so let's start there by getting the operating income, and then we can basically work backwards using our operating income and the variable cost, the costing price, because we know that the fixed cost will go up by 10%, and we know that the variable cost will increase to $1.90 per unit. We can then use that operating income from sell as is, set that equal. We know the variable cost and the fixed cost, and we can get our price that way. We can basically solve for that price as the last item. So thinking about calculating our operating income, we're going to take our revenue minus our variable costs minus our fixed costs, and that's going to give us our operating income. We're told here that there's 1,000 units. Gushers selling 1,000 packages of the fruit snacks per month. Currently, under as is, they're being sold at $4 per pack. And again, what we're solving for in this question is at what price for the new product, this process further product, adding additional step, would the operating income be equal when we do sell the current one at $4? So under sell as is, we have 1,000 units at $4 each, gives us revenue of $4,000. Variable costs. We know the variable costs, $1.60 per unit, so we're going to take 1,000 units at $1.60. So that's going to be $1,600. So we subtract away $1,600. Fixed costs. We're told the fixed costs per month are $1,700 per month, so that just goes right in there. We subtract away the fixed costs of $1,700. We're going to get operating income when we subtract away these numbers equal to $700. This will equal $700. So $4,000 minus the variable costs and fixed costs, which again are $3,300, gives us operating income of $700. Okay. Now, if we process further, we want the operating income to also be equal. So step 1 was to determine the operating income under sell as is. Step 2 is to bring the operating income over to the process further. Bring that over. Bring that same amount over because they need to be equal. That's what the question's saying. At what sales price for the new product will the two alternatives, sell as is or process further, produce the same operating income? So we set that equal. And then basically what we're going to do is we're going to work backwards. We know what fixed costs are. We know what variable costs are, but we don't know what sales. That's the issue, the sales price per unit, and we can solve backwards for that. So the fixed costs for process further, we're told that they're going to increase by 10%. So we're going to take 1,700 times 1.10. And that will give us our fixed costs. And our fixed costs here are going to equal $1,870. Variable costs, we're told in the problem, are going to increase to $1.90 per unit. So it's going to be 1,000 units at $1.90. That's going to equal $1,900. And then finally, the sales. So now we can use some algebra to get the total amount of sales, and then we can divide it by the number of units, which we know is 1,000 packages, and we can calculate the sales price per unit. So see how this works? We're basically working backwards. So step 2 is to set it equal. Step 3 is to work backwards our way up to get to sales. And again, we know our fixed costs, we know our variable costs. We don't know our sales amount. That's what we're solving for. We can get that though. And again, it's asking for the sales price per unit. Per unit, not total, sales price per unit. So we're going to solve for that. We set up our formula. Our formula is we take the 700 operating income. I'll do a little calculation here. And that equals the sales minus 1900 minus 1870. So if we're doing algebra, we add 1900 this side. We're going to basically eliminate that, add 1870. So we take 700 plus 1900 plus 1870. We then are going to get our sales number. So sales equals this calculation right here, 700 plus 1900 plus 1870, and that's going to equal $4,470. And again, we need to do it per unit. So $4,470 is the sales amount, but we're looking for the sales price per unit. So we're going to take $4,470. We're going to divide that by 1,000 packages. 1,000 packages. We're going to get $4.47 per unit. Let's just summarize. Step 1, calculate operating income under sell as is. Step 2, bring that same operating income, $700 over to the operating income of process further, because again, we're setting them equal to determine the sales price in the end. Step 3, work backwards. We know how to get fixed costs. We know variable costs. It's a percentage and an amount. Step 4, we then do our formula to get our total sales. And step 5, we do that by the number of products sold, which is $4.47 per unit.